What if I told you that Boeing is hemorrhaging billions on the most prestigious aircraft contract in American history, $3.9 billion? That's what Boeing agreed to charge taxpayers for two new Air Force One planes, a deal personally negotiated by Donald Trump as a win for America. Boeing executives even tweeted that the president negotiated a good deal on behalf of the American people. But here's where this gets catastrophic. Boeing has already lost over $2.5 billion on these planes, and they're not even close to finished. The jets that were supposed to arrive by December 2024, they might not be ready until 2029 or later. The company that built the original Air Force One, the crown jewel of American aviation, is now watching that same prestige project implode into their biggest embarrassment. These aren't just any planes. They're flying fortresses designed to protect the president during nuclear war, command centers that can run the entire US government from 35,000 feet. Here's what really happened when pride collided with physics, and one of the worst deals in aerospace history brought an aviation giant to its knees. Boeing's Air Force One contract wasn't supposed to be a disaster. In July 2018, the aerospace giant proudly signed a fixed-price contract capping costs at $3.9 billion fixed price. That meant Boeing would eat any overruns, not taxpayers. But here's the wild part. Boeing's current CEO later admitted this was a very unique set of risks that Boeing probably shouldn't have taken. Translation: they knew it was a bad deal, but took it anyway. Why would Boeing sign such a risky contract? Two words: Donald Trump. In December 2016, Trump attacked Boeing on Twitter, calling the original $4 to $5 billion estimate out of control and threatening to cancel the order. Boeing's stock immediately dipped. The pressure was on. Trump personally negotiated with Boeing's then CEO, leveraging the presidential bully pulpit to drive the price down by over $1 billion. Boeing, desperate for the prestige and political goodwill, agreed to terms that would soon become their nightmare. Now here's where physics meets delusion. Transforming a standard 747-8 into Air Force One requires modifications that border on science fiction. We're talking about secure communications that can command US forces during nuclear war, infrared missile jammers, electromagnetic pulse protection, aerial refueling capabilities. Essentially, Boeing had to build a flying White House designed to operate through nuclear apocalypse, and they had to do it for a fixed price that left zero room for error. But Boeing made a critical mistake. Instead of building new airframes, they used two existing 747-8s that had been built for a defunct Russian airline. These jets had to be torn down and heavily re-engineered after the fact. Imagine disassembling a finished jumbo jet and retrofitting thousands of classified components. The inefficiency was staggering. Then came the security nightmare. Every worker needed top-secret clearance. When COVID hit and cleared workers fell ill or quit, Boeing couldn't simply plug in replacements. The production line ground to a halt, which brings us to the implosion. By 2021, Boeing's interior subcontractor GDC Technics went bankrupt, throwing the supply chain into chaos. Boeing had to find new suppliers midstream, adding years to the timeline. The workforce crisis deepened. Boeing struggled to maintain enough security-cleared workers. When COVID outbreaks hit the modification line, there were no cleared backups to step in. Boeing's CEO admitted that when a COVID line goes down, we don't have a whole bunch of cleared people to step into their shoes. But here's the embarrassing part. In early 2022, at Boeing's San Antonio facility, crews botched a jacking operation. Some supports took more weight than they were designed for, raising fears the airframe itself had been warped. The investigation only made things worse. The supervisor on duty didn't have the proper credentials. One worker failed a drug test for methamphetamine, and inspectors found 2 empty tequila bottles hidden on the aircraft. The Pentagon issued a formal reprimand to Boeing on the president's plane. It was the kind of headline that shreds trust, and the fallout went straight to the balance sheet. Now here's what's strangling Boeing's finances. As of 2025, they've already reported more than $2.5 billion in losses on Air Force One. In just the first quarter of 2022, Boeing took a $660 million charge. Later that year, another $766 million loss in a single quarter. The running tally now exceeds $2.5 billion and continues climbing. Boeing has effectively spent well over half the contract value out of pocket, turning what should have been their crown jewel into a massive money pit. Boeing's defense division revenue fell 24% year-on-year, largely due to charges on fixed-price programs like Air Force One. Their CEO quipped they had a mess messier quarter than any of us would have liked. Then came the ultimate humiliation. Frustrated with Boeing's delays, Donald Trump began openly musing about alternatives. In early 2025, he said, "I'm not happy with Boeing. We may buy a plane or get a plane or something." Within months, Trump's team brokered an arrangement to acquire a used 747-8i from Qatar as an interim solution. The government of Qatar offered to gift a lavish VIP 747 valued around $400 million. Defense contractor L3 Harris was tapped to rapidly retrofit the Qatari jet for presidential use. The goal? Have this plane ready by fall 2025 as an interim Air Force One. Think about what this means. The US government is so desperate for a replacement, they're accepting a second-hand jet from a foreign country because Boeing can't deliver. It's the first time since the 1940s that a president might fly in an aircraft not purpose-built for the US Air Force. As of 2025, Boeing continues working on the two jets, now targeting 2027 for first delivery. But even the White House projects the handover could slip to 2029 or beyond. The existing Air Force One jets, delivered in 1990, will be over 35 years old by retirement. The Air Force is hemorrhaging $50 million annually just keeping these aging planes operational. Meanwhile, Boeing has been locked into a lose-lose scenario. There's no financial relief coming. The Pentagon held Boeing to the fixed price terms. Every extra dollar, every extra month comes straight out of Boeing's pocket. Boeing's CEO has been brutally honest. It was a very unique negotiation, a very unique set of risks that Boeing probably shouldn't have taken. Translation: we screwed up, and we're going to deliver great airplanes anyway because we have no choice. What surprised you most about Boeing's Air Force One catastrophe? Share your thoughts below.